This is video number 2 where I will be discussing swing flags. These swing flags are from DiedForYou.com. A swing flag is a flag that has along one edge, it has a weighted chain. Now this chain is sewn into the edge, so you don't have to worry about the chain falling out. One thing I have learned after using swing flags for over a year now is be careful of the use and how often and how hard you use the flags, because as you can see here, there is a portion where the flag has ripped. This is the second time this has happened because I've discovered this. I normally tell people to hold on to the flag right here on the chain itself, but that is what leads to this. So what I've discovered is right here where these fingers are, that's the end of the chain. I am now going to instruct people to hold on the back side of the chain where there is no chain. A couple reasons behind that. One, you won't have to worry about the wear and tear as much. Number 2, you do have more freedom in the flag that way than holding it here on the chain. Same thing as with wings, it is all about the figure 8 motion, at least starting off with that, and then you can move to more difficult, more complex movements. One thing is, if you are using it and it starts to wind up, cross it over your body and go the opposite direction to unwind it. That way you don't have to worry about tangling yourself up. If you do go one way and you continue to go that way, it's only going to keep getting smaller and more tangled up. You want to make sure that you start going the opposite direction to untangle that swing flag so you can continue using it. A lot of times when I'm using a swing flag, I will do a couple directions once, swing it across, go the opposite direction, swing it across, go a couple directions, swing it back across, go a couple, unwind it again. Do the basic figure 8s. You can do the figure 8 behind you, in front of you, to your side, back like this. You can do the figure 8 over your head and in front of you. One thing is that if you've ever heard of Caleb Brundage, he's another prominent flagger in the community. I learned to do this because of watching him. Learned to swing the flags this way from watching Caleb. Now when it comes to using 2 swing flags, it takes practice. Now that's the most important thing, practice. Don't get frustrated when you start off right away and all of a sudden you get all tangled up in yourself. I wasn't perfect the first time I did it. The things that you see me do have taken practice, have taken some time to learn how to do. Now one thing is that I did start off with what are called flag poi. You can definitely look those up. I start with flag poi, learning with flag poi, looking at basic simple movements, about using flag poi on YouTube, practicing those ones, and then when I did purchase these swing flags, it was a lot easier for me to transition to using swing flags after having learned with flag poi first. Now you don't necessarily have to start with flag poi, you can't go straight into swing flags, but again, practice with one hand, and then when you get good at that one hand, then practice with the other. Now when you feel like you've got a good movement on both, then you can start incorporating 2 of them and incorporating more than one movement in the 2 of them. Then you can start, if you feel confident enough, start moving around. Now don't get jealous because I can do things like that. That, again, has taken practice. I've worked up to being able to do that. To where I've stood in one place first, practiced with one hand, stood in the same spot, practiced another hand, stood in the same spot, started practicing 2. And then when I felt comfortable, started to move. It's a process to work your way up to being able to move and dance with the items in your hands. Another thing to do is just use your hands sometimes. You know, practice. Imagine you've got the flags in your hands, and just imagine the movements you're going to do with your hands, with them in your hands, so that when you finally put them in your hands, you kind of have an idea of how you want your wrists to move already. And then as you recognize the feel and the weight of each individual swing flag, wing, quill, you'll be able to easily move into those movements that you've done with other ones because you recognize the weight, you recognize the feel, and you know the extension, the size of each implement in your hand to adjust accordingly. Again, any questions, comments, drop them on here, leave them on Facebook, leave them on my Twitter, drop me an email, even send them to Died For You or Prophetic Worship Banners. I know we all would be willing to get back and answer your questions. Again, thanks folks.